السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. And this is the second part of compound letters. As we discussed earlier about compound letters, that in this exercise 3-4 letters are going to come together and could have different form than its original shape. Okay, so we discussed some letters in our first video. Now the rest of the letters we are going to discuss in this one. So as I told you, when 2-3 letter comes together, there are few possibilities, like a letter could have come in the beginning, or as a middle letter, or as a last letter. So most letters, when they come at the last, they appear in their original shape, like you can say all the letters except sometimes ayn and ghain, and sometimes mim, and you can say ha. And there are two shapes of ra and za, dal and zal. Like there are two shapes of these two letters. So we are going to discuss those shapes now today. Like these letters could have different shape even when they are at the end. Otherwise all the letters will come in its original form when they will occupy the last letter. So, but there are few letters that will be always separate or at the end, just like that. Alif, we have discussed, it will always be at the end of the letter. Dal, zal, ra, za, waw, and Hamza. These letters will always be at the end or separate. Not Hamza. Hamza is not included in that one. Just till waw. Alif, dal, zal, ra, za, and waw. These letters can only occupy as the last place. So just like we can see there, this is jim. The black one will be considered as alif, and we can simply convert this letter jim into many letters into ha. Without dots it will be considered as ha, and with one dot on it, it will be considered as kha. And now we move to the letter dal, and as you can see, dal can only come at the end in connected form. It cannot come as a first letter or as a middle letter. So this letter will be considered as ba, ain, dal. And I have seen some people have confusion about ain and ha or kha. So you can see ain when it is like this shape, it is very obvious, you can recognize it easily. But when it is this shape, I have seen some kids get mixed up with the letter ha. That's it, with the letter ha. So in response I will say ha is always this shape and empty inside. But when ain comes in this form, it is more filled and little bit different shape. Then ha. Ha is always have this red shape. So you have to remember this. So this letter is ba, ain, and dal. We can simply convert this ba into ta. So now it will be ta, ain, dal. And we know that if we simply put a dot on there, it will be ta, ghain, dal. And if we simply put a dot on the top of dal, now it will be ta, ghain, zal. Because dal and zal have exactly same shape. And I was explaining earlier that dal and dal have two shapes. One is this one, the one we discussed in the alphabets. The other one is more curved, like this shape. Okay, this one will be considered as dal because it's having one dot on it. So mostly sometimes kid gets confused with the letter noon. They think it's noon, but noon will be like this. It will have one dot in the center when it will come at the end, and dal is more dot is on the corner and it is smaller and more curved. Okay, so this word will be considered as alif because this is separate. Alif cannot be connected as a first letter, so it will be separate all the time as a first letter. This one will, it is straight line without any dot, so we will consider it lam. Alif, lam, dal and ya. If we remove this dot, now the same shape will be considered as alif, lam, dal and ya. So basically we discussed that dal and dal both have two shapes. One is this one, the other one is this one with more curved shape. Okay, now we move to the letter ra and za. So we discussed this shape ra and za. Ra, za, these two shapes we discussed in these two in alphabets, and this is the same letter ra with different shape. It is little bit, you can say, more flatter than this dal and zal. So this one is also the shape of ra and za. You can see this one will be ya ra. If I will put a dot there, the same shape will be considered as ya za. Okay, and right there you can see this. I mean, it's not exactly written as I wanted to, but it is. We will consider this shape. It will be ta za. So, and if I will remove the dot, now we will consider it this shape ra, ta ra. Okay, and now we move to the letter wow. This is letter ba and wow, and you can, as we know that when a letter comes at the end, it will be in its original form. So wow will always become in original form as in the alphabet. So this one will be ba, wow. So we have learned that alif, dal, zal, ra, za and wow in connected form, these letters will always occupy the last place, and we have discussed what are their possible shapes will be. Alif and wow will be in their original form, and these dal and zal, ra and za, each one is having two shapes. Now we move to the letter Hamza. So mostly people get confused whenever they see like this shape, they consider it Hamza. Okay, but you remember this, that Hamza is the letter which never connected with anyone. It will always be this form. Okay, so this one we consider it Ain, a part of it. Ain is used, and this is Hamza. When Hamza is connected or Hamza is separate, it's going to be like that. Connected means sometimes it comes on top of alif, wow and ya. You can see alif on top of alif, wow and ya. the letter Hamza is coming. So whenever even it comes in the center of the letter, it will appear like this on top of the letter. It will not be joined by the other letter. So that's what I mean when it will be even connected. So Hamza will always be this shape, but Ain, when it will be separate, it will be, this shape. Ain will always be this shape. Okay, and whenever you see this one, it will be considered as Hamza in separate form. Ain will look like this. So you remember this. Hamza will always be separate. Now we move to the letter Sad, Dad, Ta, Za. So as you know, each kid could have 4 possibilities, either separate. The separate shape will be look like the original form. As a beginning letter, this one will be Sad, and this one will be Ain. So sometimes you could get confusion between Sad, Ain and Ha. So you can see Sad is like this, and Ain is it will be filled up like this. Okay, Sad, Ain, and this letter will be Ha. Even when it will be used as a first letter or as a middle letter, the part of it will be used like this one. This is Kha. So if we simply remove it, one dot there, it will become Ha. So you always remember, Sad, this shape, like this part of it will be used all the time. And this is Ain, Sad, Ha. So as the first letter, it will look like that. As a last letter, this one, you can see now it's last, so it will appear in its original form, Noon, Sad. And as a middle letter, it will be like this, Noon, Sad and Ra. Noon, Sad, Ra. So we have discussed all the possible shapes of Sad, and if we simply put a dot on there, it will be converted into shapes of Dad. Now it is the letter of Dad. Dad, Ain, Dad, Ha, Noon, Dad, Noon, Dad, Ra. So now we go to the letter Ta and Za. Ta and Za will have exactly same shape as their original letter, no difference at all. So you can see as a first letter, even as a middle letter, mostly letters, when they come as a first letter or as a middle letter, the part of it will be used like, not the whole letter, but Ta will be used as it is. Ta, Alif, Ta. What do you think this black letter will be? Lam, because it's a straight line without any dots, it will be considered as Lam. And the red one will be Lam again, because when Lam comes at the end, it will come in its original form. Ta, Lam, Lam. Okay. Now, as a middle letter, you see there, Kha, Ta, Fa. Still same shape. Ba, Ta. Same shape is appearing again. No difference from its original shape. So we learned that Ta and Za will have the same shape when even they will join as a first letter or as a middle letter or as a last letter. No, there will be no difference in shape. Okay, so we can simply put a dot there. So this letter we will then read it as Za. You can see Za Alif, Za, Lam, Lam, Kha, Za, Fa, Ba and Za. Okay, now we move to the shapes of Fa and Qaf. Fa and Qaf have the exact same shape when they will come as a beginning letter or as a middle letter, but when each will come as a last letter, so you know when any letter will come at the last, mostly they will appear in their original form, like this one. This is Qaf. You can see this is Qaf as a last letter. This is Ain, Lam and Qaf. Okay, let's first discuss as a first letter. So this is Fa, Ta. You see one dot is coming, it will be considered as Fa. There are few letters like Kha, Za, Fa, Noon. These letters have one dot on top, but each one is having different shape. Noon will not have this rounded form, okay, and Pa is always, it's having unique shape, and Dad and Ghain, those letters have their own unique shapes. Basically, you do not have to mix up this letter with any other one, because it is the only letter with this curly shape in the beginning. So this one will be considered as Fa. So basically we can say that whenever it will be used separate, the half, this part is like as a first letter or as a middle letter, this part of it is being used. We can just remember it like that. So this is Fa, Pa. As a middle letter it will be like that. Sin, Fa, Ta. As a last letter it will be like that. Kha, Ta, Fa. So we have seen, now we are aware of what type of shape Fa will have as a beginning letter, as a middle letter and as a last letter. Now we move to the letter Qaf. As I told you, Fa and Qaf have the same shape as the first letter, so you simply put another dot there. Now we read it as Qaf, Qaf, Ta. Put another dot there, it will be now Qaf, Sin, Qaf, Ta. And as a last letter it will appear in its original form like this, Ain, Lam, Qaf. Fa will be like this and Qaf will be like this. Okay, now we have learned the shapes of Sad, Dad, Ta, Za, Fa and Qaf, all the possible shapes of it. Now we move to the letter Kaf. We have learned this shape in the alphabets, and if the same shape, if you remove it and place a line connected there, this inclined line, now we recognize it as another shape of Kaf. So this is Kaf, this is Kaf as well. Kaf have two shapes. You can see like this one, Kaf, Alif, Ba, Kaf, Ta. So if I will simply remove this Kaf shape, this line, and put an kind of S sign on it, so it will be still considered as Kaf. Ta, Kaf, Ta, Fa, Kaf. This one will be Fa, Kaf. If I will remove it and put a line there like that, so this one will be considered as Kaf as well, Fa, Kaf. So basically Kaf will have that S sign kind of, or this a connected inclined line on top of it. So these are the two possibilities of Kaf. This is Kaf, all the shapes of Kaf as a beginning letter and as a middle letter and as a last letter. Now we move to the letter Mim. So Mim basically have two shapes as well. This is the one we discussed in alphabets and this is the new one. So basically you can recognize this one as a part of it, like this one. This is Mim, this is kind of the same, a part of it. So you can see this is Mim, Okay, it is this rounded form, kind of. It's not actually rounded like fa or qaf. It is a little bit more egg shape in smaller form. So this one is meme alif. As a central letter, the same shape will be used, ta meme ta. As a last letter, you can see ba meme. It's not like always this shape will appear. As a last, this could have come as well. The original form can come, and this part of it can come as well. So we will consider all of these as meme letters. Now I think just few letters are remaining. Ha. You see this letter ha? These letters have two shapes. This one we discussed in alphabets, and there is another shape of ha with two holes in it. This is the same letter. You can see this one ba, ha, alif, ya, ha, ba, and as a last letter, this shape, you can say basically the same shape is there, ta, ha, ya, ha. Okay, and this letter specifically, I think, comes with only with this word, or it will be ba, ha, meme. So you can recognize, you have to remember this kind of wave shape will be remembered as ha as well. So this letter we will remember as ba, ha, meme. So you can see sometimes it's like this shape, this kind of shape will be considered as ha as well, like we will consider it ta ha. Basically, you must have seen like the words of Allah, and sometimes like this. So you can link up, this is the kind of same shape. So this one will be ha, Allah. Okay, so we can remember from this shape, this one will be considered as ha as well. And if ha comes with two dots on it, this one, so we will consider it ta, not ha. Basically this one is a different purpose of this ta besides this ta. We will discuss it later. So this ta is, the sound in this form is the same like this ta, but the use of both is different. We will discuss it in our next classes. So basically this one, if you can see it's ha coming two dots on it, we just call it ta. So if any of these shapes, this shape or this shape, will come two dots on it, so we will consider it ta. So ba, ta. Okay, so I will wind up just a quick review. So dal, zal, ra, za. These letters have two shapes of it. One is we discussed in the alphabets, and the other one is more these shapes, and for dal and zal is more curved shape. And the letter ha have two shapes, one is this one and one is this one. And the letter meme have two shapes, meme and meme. Kaf have two shapes, kaf and kaf. Okay, so that's it for today, inshallah. I will see you in next class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.